everyone, welcome back to my channel, Side Hustle Seattle. So today I actually want to do a part 2 to my first video where I talked about all the different remote online notary companies. Now, first off, thank you so much for all the likes, the shares, the comments, the support, the love on that video. By far my most watched video, and it was great because a lot of you guys commented companies that I hadn't mentioned in that video saying, hey, I should check those out. And it was also funny because I titled the video, I looked into every remote online notary company. So remote online notary companies that weren't mentioned in that video actually hit me up either in the comments or on the side being like, hey, we also have a company, you should check it out. But it was nice because I got to talk to different people in companies, maybe get some information that wasn't readily available online. So that way I can actually share it out to all of you. This is by no means a sponsored video. I'm still gonna give my pros and my cons and my dislikes like always, but at least I have factual information about the companies rather than me just speculating when I wasn't able to find enough information. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. Now, although I did get a chance to talk with some companies, I didn't get a chance to talk with all of the companies that are going to be mentioned in this video. So in some instances, I may not have a lot of information. I found that a lot of companies do not put their information online. I guess they feel like it gives them a competitive disadvantage, which I respect, but for those companies, I can only provide so much information, but hopefully by me talking about them, it'll prompt you to look into them more and get the information that you need. Now, if you saw my first video, and if you haven't, that is okay. I'll link it in the description and probably somewhere in the YouTube video itself, but you would know that I spoke about these companies. Now, today, I'm going to talk about a few different companies. I think I have 6 or 7 companies to go over. And the companies I'm going to talk about are these ones. I'm going to speak about eNotaryLog, Secured Signings, eNotary Seal, Notary Live, LiveNotary, OnlineNotary.us, and OnlineNotary.net. Now I will say I did speak about OnlineNotary.net in my first video, but I had like zero information, so I kind of just gave a brief description. I actually was able to speak with the founder, which was really cool. And so I have a lot more insight on that company. So I wanted to bring it up to be able to provide that for you. So if you didn't already know, I break down remote online notary companies into 4 different categories. Categories being employer, independent, hybrid, and partner only. And I will link the definitions so that way you can see them. I will also give a quick brief description. So employer companies are companies where you are contracted directly with them and you are only helping the clients that they provide to you. Think of like a notarize, right? You're not bringing your own clients onto the platform. They're sending clients to you and you are notarizing them. So that is an employer platform. An independent platform is more like a Doc Verify, where all you are getting is the software in order to do remote online notary work, and then you do with it what you will. They're not giving you any clients. You are bringing your own onto the platform itself. And then hybrid, just a mix of both. Essentially, you can do employer work and independent. You can help the clients that that platform gives to you, or you can bring on your own. Little bit of the best of both worlds. And then partner only companies are the ones, of course, where you can only get work if a partner assigns it directly to the platform. I know that is a little confusing. Think of it like a Pavaso or a Nexus ClearSign. So you cannot bring your own clients onto the platform. They do not provide you clients. What happens is if you are signed up with one of their partners, let's say a SnapDocs will just assign you the work directly through the platform itself. So today we actually don't have any partner only companies to go over. So I'll show you what the breakdown looks like if you were to break down all the companies I said I was going to go over into the different RON types. So for each company, I'm going to talk about the availability. So in which states is it available to use? I'm going to talk about the prices, the fees, or the payouts. And then I'm going to give some pros and cons, at least ones that I feel like are pros and cons. Now we're going to start with the independent platforms. Now I was fully expecting to talk about 3 different platforms, that being Secured Signing, LiveNotary, and eNotaryLog. However, I wasn't able to find a lot of information on eNotaryLog, so I emailed them and be like, hey, can I get the pricing breakdown? And I got the full pricing breakdown. I was preparing the slides. I was ready to talk about it. And then I finally scrolled down to the bottom of the email and got hit with the like, confidentiality tag, which is like you cannot share any of this information out. So I'm not going to talk about eNotaryLog because I'm not trying to get sued for a video. However, from what I can see, it seems like a good platform. So I'm just gonna go ahead and link them in the description. If you wanna know more, feel free to reach out to them. So with that being said, that leaves us with two independent platforms to talk about, that being secured signings and LiveNotary. So we're gonna start with secured signings. I'm not gonna lie to you, like off the top, this seems like the best independent platform I've seen so far. After seeing DocVerify and SignX, where I just feel like you spend hundreds and hundreds, almost $1,000 a year just to use the platform. This one is significantly cheaper. Seems like it has all the same features and it's a lot more straightforward. Now, granted, I haven't used it, but just from what I can see in the demos online and the pricing online, I'm not sure why anybody wouldn't go with a platform like this over the others. But again, I haven't used it, so maybe there's something that I'm not seeing. But let's just go ahead and go into the availability. So this platform is used or can be used by anyone who is in a state that allows remote online notary work. So there isn't any limitations. If you're in a state that allows remote online notary work, you should be able to use this platform just fine. Now let's go into the pricing and fees, because this is where I actually feel like they're pretty strong at. So when you're looking at the pricing, you are going to pay $9.95 a month just for access to the platform. So that is regardless of the work that you do on the side. That is a reoccurring cost. Every month, expect to pay almost $10. Now on the site, it lets you know that the cost of a remote online notarization is around $10. And the way they estimate that is, they say the average RON is about one document with one stamp, about 30 minutes, and you'll need both knowledge-based authentication and ID verification. And you can see that there's a pricing breakdown for all of those. If you add it all up, that is what equals the $10. So now that you've seen the fees, let's talk about the pros and cons. So an easy pro is the fact that the digital certificate is free. Now, if you're looking to do remote online notary work, no matter what, you have to have a digital certificate. So it can either be provided by the company that you're using or the platform that you're using, or you can get it yourself through a third-party company like IdenTrust. If you don't know how to get it, I will go ahead and just link IdenTrust in the description, as well as a video I did on how to go about getting it. That way you can go through that process. But they're like $60 minimum for a digital certificate. It's anywhere from like $60 to $100 and something, depending on how long you get your certificate for. So just by them providing it for free, it's an automatic $60 savings, which is incredible. Top that off with the fact that it's a pretty low monthly cost and cost per notarization, which is interesting because it's so different when compared to its other counterparts like DocVerify and SignX. So I'm a little bit like, I'm interested. How are they able to provide the service so low when everybody else is so high? So, I mean, I'm glad they do. I think that's awesome. But it is quite the difference from other independent companies that I've seen in the past. And I think another pro that's a little bit slept on is the fact that you can add additional participants to the signings itself. So most of the time, let's say you have multiple signers, they have to be in the same room. In this case, you can bring another participant on to the video stream. I think it's like an extra dollar, but that's a big difference from a lot of other platforms who don't have that capability. There are, of course, some cons as well. One of the cons is that the standard video or the standard stream is only 30 minutes. So 30 minutes is what comes with the upfront costs. And then if it goes over 30 minutes, you pay additional money. I think it's like 5 cents per minute per participant, and you are counted as a participant. So if you're in a signing and it's going to take you an hour and a half, you are going to pay for that. Now it doesn't add up to a lot of money. It's only 5 cents or 10 cents if it's 2 people there, but still, it is an additional cost. So I did want to make sure that I mentioned that. Another con that I saw was the fact that you do have to purchase credits. Now, my experience with credits, or at least looking into companies or independent platforms that offer credits, you often have to buy bulk up front. Now, the only thing about it is like, yeah, maybe each signing only costs you $10. But if you have to buy 200 credits, $200 of credits up front, it gets a little iffy because sometimes you don't use all the credits. Sometimes you're kind of forced to pay so much up front. and then feel like you have to use them all because you've already spent the money. So sometimes credits get a little bit sticky. But again, I have not used this platform, so I'm not sure how much bulk credits you have to buy in advance. Okay, so the next company I'm going to talk about is LiveNotary. This one's actually a little bit weird because I was fully expecting to talk about this company in the hybrid company section, but they've made some changes to their platform / their site in like the last week. So if you saw the video that I did last week on which companies I decided to choose, this is actually one of the companies that I decided to personally use. So when you went onto the site, they had two different pricing options. It was $0, and you just paid $10 per transaction, and you can use it like an independent platform. You can bring your own signers onto it. Or you can pay $20 a month plus like a setup fee, and then you could use it as an independent platform, or you could help the clients that they provided for you, which is why I was considering it like a hybrid platform. However, when I was going back on to the website to get some screenshots for this video, none of those pricing options are there anymore. The only pricing options are you pay $10 a month and $10 per transaction, and you can bring your own clients onto it, so completely independent, or you can get like an enterprise option. But the option to do hybrid work or serve their clients is no longer there. Now that may be because they're a newer platform, maybe they didn't feel like they had enough clients to provide for it to be a value add to people spending $20 a month. But that's interesting. I've never seen a company pivot that quickly, especially when I'm looking one week over another. But anyway, so as far as availability goes, it's available anywhere remote online notary work is available. So if you're in a state that does remote online notary work, you should be able to use this platform. Now, as far as cost goes, pretty straightforward. It's a $149 setup fee, and then it is $10 a month and $10 per transaction. So $10 a month, that is a fixed cost, and then every time you bring on a client and notarize a client, that is a $10 transaction fee that you will be paying. So pretty straightforward, pretty clean on that end. So even with the pivot, I still think there's a lot of great things with this platform. I still think there's a lot of pros. One of them being that the digital certificate and the electronic notarial seal are included with that $10 a month. So like I said, when I was talking about secured signings, with a digital certificate, you would pay at least $60 out of pocket. So that already in itself is a savings. So you're recouping some of that money that you're spending per month, which is awesome. Another one, they have very thorough hands-on training. I did get trained through them. So it was great to be able to really see how to use the platform and kind of go through a mock trial run. So that way you're comfortable with using the system. Another one that I really like is you can charge the client whatever you want. Like a lot of platforms have like fixed costs that you have to charge the platform, or you have to charge the client. You can charge the client whatever, and you can like list out what exactly you're charging them for. So you can say like, I'm charging you $10 for a platform fee plus $25 per state law for the notarization plus $6 for yada, yada, yada. So you can charge them whatever you want, and you can do it on platform or off platform. You don't have to do the transaction fully through the platform. It is your choice if you want to charge them through the platform or not. So I thought that was really convenient. And then the last one that I really liked is you can upload multiple documents within a session. What you'll find with some companies, it only allows you to upload one document. And so if you were going to do multiple documents, you would have to do another session. In this case, you can upload as many documents as you need to into a single session. Now, as far as cons go, honestly, the biggest con is that there's not a mobile app for this. So if your client wants to do it on their phone or their tablet, they won't be able to do it. They'll have to do it on the laptop. So if anything, that's probably the biggest inconvenience, because sometimes people are just kind of running around and a phone is what they have accessible, or the phone is the easiest way for them to do it. So in this case, they will have to do it on a computer in order to use this platform. Okay, so that now brings us on to our employer platforms. Now, as somebody who's new to remote online notary work, I personally think employer platforms are the best way to go. Because they provide the clients to you, it actually feels like it's easier to kind of get your feet wet and get started. So I have two companies to talk about today, that being OnlineNotary.net and eNotary Seal. Now for OnlineNotary.net, that's the one where I actually got to speak to the founder. So shout out to you for reaching out to me. That was an awesome experience. But their setup definitely a lot different than any other employer company or really any other remote online notary company that I've seen. So they take the employer company part very literally. All of their notaries are either W-2 employees or 1099 contractors. And from what he says, you actually have the opportunity to pick if you wanted to be a W-2 employee or a 1099 contractor through their company. Now, with that being said, they do keep a very small team. So even though they are hiring, they are looking to hire people in different states. It's not gonna be like some other companies where there's thousands of notaries there. It's more in the tens. So just know if you are looking to sign up with them, only a handful of notaries are actually going to be contacted and reached out to. So just keep that in mind. So as far as availability goes, they are currently looking to hire notaries in these states. If you get into pricing, or payouts, I should say, it's a little bit different. So the way they have it broken down is if you get hired on, you're either assigned to do general notary work or you're assigned to do loan signing work. Now, if you're assigned to do general notary work, then you get paid $12 to $17 per hour. So that's not per transaction, that's not per client, that is a fixed per hour cost. If you are signed on to do loan signing work, then you get paid $25 per hour. So it's definitely a lot different than any other company I've seen where you get paid per transaction, per seal, per notarization. This one's a fixed hourly cost. Again, they treat their notaries much like true employees, classic employees, I guess you can say. So it makes sense why there's a per hour cost, but that's not gonna be for everybody, right? It has its limitations, which I'll get into for the cons, but that is how they are currently set up. All right, so let's talk about the pros. Some pros: digital seal and certificate are included. There's $0 platform or setup fees or anything like that. You're not paying to get set up with this platform. And then of course you have the option to be a W-2 employee. Now that's not gonna be for everybody, but if you want the benefits that come along with that, at least there is an option for it. So let's talk about the cons of going with a company who's structured like this. So because it is a fixed hourly fee, obviously you have limited earning potential. When you're doing it per transaction, your earning potential is however many transactions you can fit into a day. On this one, it's capped, right? If you're getting paid $12 to $17 an hour, no matter what, no matter how many signings you do, no matter how many notarizations you do, that hourly cost is still going to stay the same. So that is somewhat limiting, or it is very limiting, I should say. Also, they have their notaries work in shifts. So you work 4 to 8 hour shifts. So again, part of the great things about being a contractor or a contractor with another company is flexibility, right? You can pop on, pop off when you want to, you can take a break if you want to. Having a 4 to 8 hour fixed shift doesn't necessarily allow you the flexibility that you may want. So again, something to keep in mind if you are looking to reach out and sign up with this company. So the next one we're going to talk about is eNotarySeal. Now this is one of the companies where there wasn't a lot of information online. Believe me, I reached out to them, tried to get some more information, and I haven't been reached back out to yet. Now, if they provide me the information, it is not confidential, I'll post it in the comments so that way you can have that information. But I do know as far as availability goes, it is available in these states right here. For pricing, unfortunately, like I said, that information was not anywhere online, and believe me, I searched. So I do not have that pricing information. So as far as pros and cons go, a little bit hard to give it when there's not information online. I guess a con could be that there isn't a lot of information online. But one thing I did see on the website was that they only hire NNA certified signing agents who have at least $100,000 E&O insurance policy and 3 years of experience. So if you're new to remote online notary work, unfortunately, you would not be in the pool of people that they are looking to onboard. It sounds like they only want experienced agents to work with them. Okay, so that brings us to our last category, and those are hybrid platforms. So again, hybrid platforms are where you can bring your own clients onto the platforms, or you can serve the clients that they bring to you, a little bit of a best of both worlds. So I have 2 companies to go into under this header, and that is OnlineNotary.us and eNotaryLog. Let's go ahead and start with OnlineNotary.us. So it's another one of those companies where there was not a lot of information online. Believe me, I searched every which way, and they're keeping their information close to the chest. I will tell you that much. But when you go onto the website and you look to sign up as a notary, what you'll see is two different options. You can either see the option to use the platform for your own business or firm, or you can choose the option that says you want to help the clients that OnlineNotary.us provides for you. Now, as far as availability goes, from what I can see, it looks like it's available in every state that allows remote online notary work, which is fantastic. Of course, payouts and fees, I do not have that information because it wasn't anywhere where I can see. I did reach out to the company to see if I could get it. And again, as long as it's not confidential, I will link it in the comments after this video goes live, so that way you have the information. Or if you're looking for it, feel free to just reach out directly to them. Now, as far as pros and cons, makes it a little harder to do pros and cons when you have less information. But what I did see is if you're looking to use it solely as an independent platform, you have to do at least 15 settings a month in order to use the platform in that way. So it does have that stipulation. Now, if this is your full-time job, I'm assuming 15 in a month is nothing, but just keep that in mind, that they do only allow the platform for people who are doing at least 15 settings a month if you want to do it if you want to use it as an independent platform. So our last company in the video that we are going to talk about is eNotaryLog. Now, this is another one of the companies where I got a chance to speak to some people that work at the company. So thank you so much for reaching out and taking the time to speak with me. I hope I took good notes and I'm not like butchering this information, but from what I remember, from what I wrote down, this is how the company breaks down. So as far as availability goes, it's actually only available in 2 states, those being Texas and Oklahoma. So if you're not in those states, unfortunately, you will not be able to use it. Okay, so let's talk about fees and payouts. So it's actually $0 to sign up to use this platform. And as far as payouts, you get paid $10 per document notarized. So that's a little different because in a lot of other companies, you get paid per stamp or seal. So, you apply your first stamp, that's amount, and then each additional one is an additional amount. In this case, it's just a flat rate, $10 per document. It doesn't matter how many seals or stamps you put on it itself. And that is actually regardless of if you're helping their client or if you're helping your own. So just keep that in mind. Now, that's actually not terrible because if you think about a company like Notarize, right, you get paid $5 for your first stamp and then like $1 per additional stamp or seal that you have to put on it. So $10 is actually a decent amount, especially if you're only if it's like a single page document that you're only applying one stamp to. $10 is actually not a bad payout for that. But just keep in mind that is a very flat, fixed fee. So let's go ahead and go into the pros. So there are a few of them. So one of the pros easily has a very clean, easy to use interface, definitely very client friendly from what I can see in the demos and the videos. So that is definitely a plus. I know some of the complaints that I've seen about other platforms are that they're hard to navigate for the client. So having something easy to use is definitely a benefit. Also, the electronic notarial seal is included. Now keep in mind, that is different from a digital seal/certificate. The electronic notarial seal is just an electronic version of the rubber stamp that you would normally put on a document. And then the other pro, I should say, is you can actually be an affiliate partner with them. So essentially you can create an affiliate link, you can share it out, you can put it on your website, your blog, etc. And if somebody uses your link to go to their platform to get a document notarized, you get a little bit of a kickback. So it's like a separate, different way to make money, and you don't even necessarily have to be using the platform for RON work to still get that money. So if you have a big network or you feel like you have a lot of reach, you might as well create an affiliate link and get some money on the side for it. But I will just link that down in the description so you can read more about that. So let's talk about cons. So I think the biggest con that I was told is that you can't upload multiple documents per session. So if you have somebody who wants 3 different documents notarized, that's 3 different sessions you have to put them into, which is definitely an inconvenience. They say that they're working on it, so hopefully that comes soon. But I will say that is a pretty big inconvenience to be aware of. Another one that they're working on but isn't available yet is you don't have the ability to charge the signer whatever you want. It's a fixed cost. You don't have any control over that. So that is something to be aware of if you are looking to use the platform. Okay, so that is the end of the video. Thank you so much for sitting through part 2 of my remote online notary reviews, if you will. Let me know what you thought about these companies. Let me know if any of them stuck out to you or you think that you'll actually use them. I know for me, it was really refreshing to see like reasonably priced independent platforms, especially compared to what I found in my first video. So that was awesome. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know if there's any other platforms that I'm forgetting or that you've used that you think people should be aware of. And as always, thank you for watching.